Hello and welcome our Blood Views to RTD's News English Edition. Tonight for the highlights, we got strong message to preserve unity and peace. Launch of training for young athletes in Dai. And as for the international scene, the Tokyo Olympics are over. See you in Paris in 2024. Those were the highlights, our blood viewers. Welcome back to our newsroom. Following the example of the Arab and Islamic world, the Republic of Djibouti celebrates today, Monday, 9th August 2021, on the occasion of the new Hijra year 1443. It should be noted that the Islamic calendar symbolizes the migration of the noble prophet from Mecca to Medina, where the messenger of God, may God bless him and grant him peace, established the nucleus of the Islamic State, which soon became a global superpower. The Hijra calendar is a lunar calendar consisting of 12 lunar months, the number of days of which ranges from 29 to 30 days. On this day, Muslims remember the prophetic journey of Muhammad, peace and blessings be of Allah be upon him, from Mecca to Medina, which was full of great lessons, including patience in spreading the Islamic call. Among other religious occasions, that the Hijra calendar is used to determine the birthday of the Prophet, Mawlid al-Nabi, the anniversary of the migration of the Honorable Prophet, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha, the month of Ramadan. It should be remembered that the Hijri New Year also comes at a time when the whole world is suffering from the repercussions of the coronavirus pandemic, which has had economic and social circumstances as well as the health crisis. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, expressed his best wishes for health, happiness, prosperity, and fulfillment to all Djiboutians. On the occasions of the Muslim New Year, in this wish to the nation, the head of state expressed the hope that this Muslim New Year will be an additional source of brotherhood and communion between all our citizens, and praised Almighty God for having endowed us with a religion that provides us with all the necessary aspirations to strain our living together in peace and unity, brotherhood and solidarity. May mercy grant us our legitimate wishes to always face the challenges related to the development of our country. Under the sign of cohesion and national harmony, the President of the Republic implored. In this wish to the nation, President Ismail Omar Guelleh also expressed his strong encouragement to all the active forces of our country. Thanks to your daily efforts, our country is steadily acquiring all the conditions conducive to its access to sustainable prosperity, he stressed. You are the backbone, the lifting, the strong link in our collective project to make our country an essential and respected country in the increasingly integrated and interdependent process of our country. He added, we are particularly proud today that our nation has the talent to meet the challenge of inequity and creativity in all sectors of activity, he continued, reiterating his faith in our country's ability to forge a sustainable path to growth by pursuing its efforts in unity, cohesion, and national harmony. The Prime Minister, Mr. Abdulqadir Kamil Mohammed, has addressed the population after the regrettable events that have damaged the common pride of living together and have trained the ancestral values of peace and solidarity in our country in recent days. After expressing on behalf of the President and his staff his condolence and compassion for the victims of the barbarities, the Prime Minister thanked the efforts to calm the situation and saluted the wisdom of the Djiboutian people who have remained lucid, avoiding the game of social network agitators. A people who have shown that nothing is more important than peace and the future of this country. The first recalled in his message that the Republic of Djibouti is one and indivisible, a people that draws its strength from its cultural diversity, stating that individuals who wanted to undermine it must pay a high price. Individuals who seek to destabilize our country and divide the Djiboutian people by importing rivalries under our flag that have no place in our country. The Prime Minister stressed that we are above all Djiboutians, and in order to face these threats, we must remain united and welded to preserve what we have the most. Finally, the Prime Minister said that the perpetrators of the violence will be prosecuted and punished with severity. As part of the modernization of taxation and inter-resources mobilization, the Ministry of Budget has undertaken a vast project in the tax management system. To meet the challenge in this regard, the tax administration is currently carrying out projects at Tax Box. The objectives of this reform are to secure tax revenues, but also to mobilize internal resources. With this project, the general direction of the taxes is carrying out a vast reform in the integrated system of the management of the taxes and collection. The process had already started, and today it is the stage of signature with selected third parties. This is a project financed by the World Bank but was interrupted because of COVID 19. It should also be noted that it's a Canadian company that has already worked on this system that will allow the tax authorities to quickly implement a teledeclaration and telepayment. In the framework of the perpetuation of peace and social cohesion in the Republic of Djibouti, the youth of the region of Dikhil mobilized to demonstrate their desire to preserve inter-community unity and fraternity. To this end, the youth of Dikhil held awareness-raising activities, neighborhood meetings, and exchange meetings between young people from different neighborhoods and different communities in order to remind them of the values of sovereignty and peace. The youth also stressed that the region of Dikhil symbolizes peace, unity, and living together of the three communities that make up the Djiboutian population. The young people of Dikhil expressed loud and clear that the latest inter-neighborhood confrontations, which cause significant human and material damage, will hardly affect their motto that there is no question of harming one's neighbor, regardless of his or her ethnic or tribal affiliation. The youth mobilized in all its diversity lastly called on Djiboutians youth to show good citizenship to preserve public order and social well-being in their place of residence. The CDC in Asajok town hosted a vast awareness campaign against COVID-19, organized by the Ministry of Health in collaboration with the Ministry of Youth and Culture. The Regional Director of Health, Mr. Idris Mahmoud Hassan, and Mrs. Sifrah Sugay Anan, head of the Vaxudrome, welcoming this collaboration between the two ministries, explained at length, in addition to the mortality risks, the socio-economic and cultural impacts of this pandemic, advocating the need for provision, especially vaccination, the only safe and reliable bulwark against COVID-19. Also on the menu were awareness-raising sessions rich in lessons on prevention against COVID-19. The theme of the sensitization focused on the COVID-19 vaccine. Women leaders and young people in the different districts of the city of Asajok took part in this noble activity launched through the community development centers, and whose objective is to mobilize the population to protect themselves against COVID-19. In partnership with the Djibouti Chamber of Commerce, the French Development Agency, the Djibouti Red Crescent is launching an awareness campaign on COVID-19 in the corridor. Thanks to this cooperation, the Red Crescent will continue its provision and protection activities in the border areas of Galafe and Galile by conducting its tests for Ethiopian trucks and other persons entering the national territory. Its volunteer members have undertaken an information and awareness campaign on possible methods of contamination to avoid COVID-19 among the population. Moving on to DAI, the National Sports Training Institute hosted a ceremony to launch the training for young athletes in the making. Following a brilliant screening conduct in Balho in the north of the country, the training, conducted by a Cuban expert, brings together a total of 15 young people, destined to join the professional team in the future, all of whom come from the region of Tajarra and Obokh. On their arrival, the youngsters were welcomed by the presentation speech of the acting director of their regions, Mr. Yusuf Abdullah, and then the instructions of Mr. Para before going to the field to begin the morning dedicated to the physical part. There, the athletes were subjected to several tests evaluating their technical and physical capacities, essential for athletics such as speed, strength, or endurance. The director did not fail to praise the new policy of the Secretary of State in the charge of sports, which gives new impetus to the regional sports by emphasizing training and technical supervision. A strong delegation composed of players and technicians of women's table tennis flew yesterday to Jordan to participate in the table tennis tournament, which will be held in Jordan in 2 months. And this delegation includes 3 young girls led by the coach Yusuf, who will participate during August 10 to August 16 in Jordan. During the departure at the airport, they were greeted by the president of the Table Tennis Federation, Mahmoud Umar, and by the numerous supporters who came to support the women's table tennis team, which will participate in table tennis tournament, which will be held in Jordan. The women's table tennis team has been able to benefit from 2 months of training to prepare for this table tennis tournament to be held in Jordan. The objective of this training is to improve the performance of the sports, particularly table tennis in Djibouti, which is a developing discipline. The team of Arta 7 took the plane yesterday afternoon. Arta Solar 7, took the plane yesterday afternoon in the direction of United in Cameroon for a 3 weeks block training course of the preparation of the new season of the Djibouti National Championship. The team of Arta Solar 7, which will play 2 friendly matches with Cameroon clubs in the coming weeks. Arta Solar 7, at the end of the 2020-2021 season, won the league and cup double, a real constitution to prepare for its future participation in the Champions League. Arta Solar 7 will do part of its pre-season in Cameroon. The clues of Arta Solar wants to get to the top before the African expedition that will start in September. The teammates of Alexander Song will play several friendly matches against local teams. The objective of these training sessions was to reinforce the efforts to enhance the image of local football by going as far as possible in the National and African Champions League. The military of the Rapid Intervention Battalion, known in their NCOM BIR base in Lyon in collaboration with the elements of the customs distributed in the fishery of the chief town products of contraband. This was made up of a large quantity of khat, different types of tablets and cosmetics of considerable counterfeit. This quantity of contraband goods was discovered and seized during recent sweep operations conducted in areas of illegal trafficking, not far from the border between the Republic of Djibouti and Somaliland. This fruitful cooperation was carried out by the country's security elements with the close collaboration of the head of the Mobile Customs Brigade, Mr. Yahya Musa Ege, and the head of the Customs and Luaida, Mr. Mene, through their area of competence during a simple routine check today in order to overcome this scourge, which represents huge losses for the national economy. The elements of territorial security and customs officers, whatever their presence on the territory, collaborate in the success of each smuggling operation. It should be remembered that the smuggling is detrimental to the economy of our country, and without the complicity of a potential buyer, the trafficker would not be able to carry out this illicit trade. So today, more than ever, it is the responsibility of every Djiboutian citizen to lead the fight to put an end to this scourge. Moving on to the international scene, it took a decade of preparation and a year of postponement due to the COVID-19 pandemic to get to the 2 weeks of competition. On Sunday, the Olympic flame was extinguished in the Tokyo Stadium where it had been lit 16 days earlier. And like all events, the closing ceremony of the 32 games of the modern era were held behind closed doors, except for the athletes and journalists. President Thomas Bach handed over the Olympic flag to Anne Hidalgo, the mayor of Paris, where the next Olympic Games will be held in 2024. The situation is worrying in the West Indies. A call for the volunteer doctors and nurses have been launched to provide assistance in Guadeloupe and Martinique, where hospitals are overwhelmed by the scourge evictions and admissions to intensive care. Guadeloupe has more than 1,400 cases per 100,000 inhabitants, 6 times for the national average. From Monday, everywhere in France, it will be necessary to have a health pass to enter many public spaces such as restaurants or long-distance trains. In the UK, the government is investigating the price of PCR tests, which Health Secretary Sajid Javid says is unnecessarily high. It costs around €74 to be tested. By this, our beloved viewers, we conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us and make sure to stay safe. We wish you a happy new year and a wonderful evening. Thank you very much.